Good morning. Welcome back to Jen Exhausted, the podcast.
There is no welcome back. It's our first podcast.
No, the podcast we can't seem to get off the ground. To our pod fail. I want to give a true shout out because I just checked. We have 58 followers. That's freaking awesome. 58 from 0, and we haven't even launched an official podcast yet. That's awesome. Yep. Thank you guys. Thank you. This is so fun and it's very exciting.
And eventually we're actually going to
get our podcast out there. The other thing I wanted to mention today was, I had knee replacement surgery on my right knee last year, July 22nd. Mm-hmm. It's been a year recovery almost. On July 22nd will be another year. But anyways, right on righty got done. Let down lefty has let me down. And I'm getting ready to have knee replacement surgery again as soon as the surgeon's office calls me and says, you're on the schedule. So, of course, I'm late to the game, but I decided I should probably get stronger and I should exercise and I should try to lose some weight to make my recovery a little easier. And I stepped on the scales this morning and I was down 10 pounds.
Good job.
Yay for me.
Awesome.
So I am Gen X. I am not a quitter, but I do have a lot of quit in me. So make that make sense. But I won't quit. And my son, he told me when we were getting hay off the field this year, and it's a miserable job. If you've never gotten hay off the field, it freaking sucks. The only good part about that job is driving the freaking truck if it has AC.
Which none of us get to do.
I did this year, a little bit. Well, because then we left. But
my 8-year-old drives my truck. So.
Right. It's a miserable job. And my youngest son, how old is Dakota? 28? He'll be 28 this year. He's a 98.
Yes.
So he's 28 this year. Anyway, he was complaining like no other this year getting the hay off the field. It's, 100 degrees, the hottest days of the year that we've already, that we had experienced already.
I bailed and said that I wasn't going to do it with them.
You didn't do it. She was like, it's too early. We never get hay before the 4th. And I'm like, seriously, when we get the call, you get the hay, okay? You've learned this lesson.
I have a system, okay? I have a system.
So, Dakota, he was complaining like no other, and he was like, it's hot, it's miserable, this sucks, and he was whining and going on. And, of course, most of it was to be funny, but he told me, he says, you didn't raise no quitter, Mom, but you're going to hear about it the whole time. And I said, fair enough. So anyway, that's how I wanted to start today because I was excited that we have 58. Woo! Thank you guys. That's awesome.
And you've lost 10 pounds.
And I've lost 10 pounds. Woo! And I'm getting stronger.
Yep.
I'm really working hard because I know that you have to be strong to get through knee replacement surgery. Mm-hmm. I mean, the exercises and right on righty needs to be really strong to support let down lefty in its journey to recovery too. So anyway, if you see me hobbling around, arthritis sucks, bone on bone. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for your knees. But anyway, that's what I was thinking about this morning on the way here. And I was thinking, we need my mother.
Yeah, we do.
We need Mom. And I was thinking, maybe if we get 100 people to say Mom in the comments, we can get Mom on.
Okay.
Maybe. Maybe Mom might want a little more than 100.
I think Mom wants more. Grandma wants more than 100.
Does she?
Oh, you know it. She's a go-getter.
But my mom, she raised 2 Gen X children in the Gen X era. Mm-hmm. And she was a Gen X, parenting Gen X. So, and she's got epic stories that are just like unmatched.
She does.
You can't make this stuff up, stories.
I know.
And the way she tells them is epic.
It is.
So, anyway. All right, let's get started. Let's try and get one off the ground.
Okay, so I would like to start with, what does Jen Exhausted mean? So, what inspired you and us to do this podcast? Really, it was her idea, and then I said I would be a support person, and then it turned out that we're just going to do this together.
So it started because we were actually chatting with a coworker, and my coworker said, you're Gen X, aren't you, Tony? And I was like, haha, and I'd had like probably a really rough day, or I was real tired, and I was like, more like Gen Exhausted, ha ha ha. And that kind of spurred the whole thing, more as a total ha ha. But for 2 years, I sat on that idea, and it's been tumbling around in my brain like a rock tumbler, and I'm thinking, that's pretty good. Like, we are an exhausted generation, but it's not just us that's exhausted. I'm finding out. It's all generations. Well, maybe not all generations.
Okay, maybe not the alphas right now, because that's what my daughter is, and I mean, she's exhausting, but I don't think she's exhausted yet.
It's exhausting to watch her be her, though.
Yeah.
So I just know how I feel, and I know I'm not the only one. As a background, I'm raising, my husband and I, and well, our family, we're raising. 2 of my granddaughters are living with me, and they're ages 7 and 9 right now. They've been with us for the last 2 years, I think. So almost 3 years. It's been almost 3 years. And those girls, bless their hearts, we have some amazing kids, I will say. I'm going to give a shout out to the kids right now. I have 4 granddaughters. Every one of them are amazing.
Yeah, because not one of us can have a boy in this family.
I have 2 bonus grandsons, and I will tell you, my daughter Gab and Kevin have raised 2 amazing young men, and I will say it is so refreshing to see good, respectable young men coming up that are sure of themselves. They are polite, they're respectful, they're hard workers, they are go-getters, they are fun to be around. You know what? They are really, really good kids, and it is refreshing to see kids that are not struggling with their identity or, you know, all the things, just all the things that are facing young people today. It's nice just to see some good old-fashioned young men being raised up, and I'm proud of them, and I want to say that. I want to give you 2 a shout out. You've done an amazing job with those boys. You
They're
have.
good boys.
And our granddaughters.
It was exhausting raising them.
And they're good.
But
They're really good ones.
They are very
I mean,
good.
you're saying you're exhausted raising them? Girl.
It's exhausting raising good kids.
I raised you.
Exhausting raising the interesting ones. I know. I got both ends of the spectrum going.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
She's a force.
Yeah.
She's a force, y'all. She's a force.
Yeah. So that is kind of how Gen Exhausted got spurred. It was just this fun conversation in the office. For those that don't know, we work together. My mom's my supervisor, I guess, or lead. She's my lead.
I recruited her.
We're school bus drivers.
Yep.
Small town. So we get to work together, and most of the time it's pretty comical and funny. I mean,
yeah,
it definitely has its moments of frustration.
And let me shout out to that too. We're raising daughters and granddaughters.
Raising kids.
And our girls have to get up hours before any other kids probably even have to consider getting out of bed. Because like my 2 granddaughters that are living with me right now, they have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get their butts up, get ready to go, come to work with me so that they can meet Auntie so I can leave for my route. And then they have to ride the whole school bus route to school in the mornings. And all of our girls, the 3 that are in school, are doing well in school. It is not affecting them in the fact that they're not getting enough sleep. You know, they go to bed early. You know, in my house it's 7:30. It's bedtime, and boy, they respect that, and they go right to bed. And they get up in the morning. Very little fighting really to get them up. Hardly ever anymore, really. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to shout out, like, yeah, it's tough. And I know people. I saw there was a school district somewhere talking about changing the start time.
Did I see something about that on social media, that they were going to change the start time because kids need more rest, or
no, it was to
less
make
rest or something. It was something
earlier. The younger kids to go to school earlier, and they were pretty upset. The parents are pretty upset, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, geesh. And they still wouldn't have to get up as early as our girls do.
I would be happy with our school starting our younger ones earlier, because then I have the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You know, if they start earlier and get out earlier, then I have the rest of the day, you know, but I'm also not a sleep until noon kind of person. I mean, the day starts at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So
I was supposed to be here this morning at coffee time, but I had a rough night, okay? I had a rough night.
Yeah, I called her and I was like, so what is coffee time for you?
I know, at like 8 o'clock, she's like, I'm like, hello?
I've already done it all.
In my defense, though, my husband's out of town. He's coming home today. I had no kids last night. had a rough night with my dog who was sounding off at something all half the night. And then my back pain, and my foot pain, and all the pain that makes me me right now.
So, okay.
Anyway.
In our exhausted journey, and maybe we ramble a lot because we are so exhausted. I don't know. I feel well rested today, I think.
I feel pretty good now that I'm here.
Now that I woke you up.
I woke up and did the chores. I feel good.
Yeah. I made sure that Linus got his bucket before you showed up so he can't annoy you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's not me.
I guess, so my next question is kind of, what do you think is causing generations to be so exhausted? Why are we so exhausted? What is exhausting these days?
Okay, well, I can
Other
speak
than
for
just life.
Yeah, life is exhausting. More exhausting than I think it used to be.
I agree.
And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. For me, and I think many of us in my generation, Gen X, and that's who I'm going to speak for. In my generation, I think many of us are experiencing exhaustion from, one, we're still working full-time jobs. Mm-hmm. Some of us are working more than full-time. We're working full-time and a part-time job, or we're working multiple part-time jobs. And we, for whatever reason, we came from a generation that retirement, while it was important, I don't know, my parents really never taught me or talked about money. Like, that wasn't a thing for us in my household.
Finances weren't discussed at the table.
I knew it was important, but for Dad it was like, get your life insurance, and but as far as, I was just raised, go to work hard, do a good job, get recognized for your hard work. He came from that generation. If you work hard and you do a good job, you get promoted. That seems to be gone now. And I don't see that. Even my young son, who, he's working, and I would always tell him, just do the best job you can, you will get recognized. But no more are the days where a kid gets a job, they do a good job, and they get promoted, where you start out washing windows at the gas station and pumping gas, and then next thing you're the store owner. That doesn't seem to happen anymore. Everybody gets the trophy, everybody gets the raise, everybody gets the recognition. You could be not a good worker, and work beside some of the best hard workers, and they're still getting the same benefit as this person putting in 110%. And then there's this one over here flipping the bird all the time and saying, no, I'm going to do exactly what I was told to do and nothing extra.
Well, I would like to touch on that real quick because, of course, my son, who just turned 18, got his first job, and I would like to shout out to his employer. I don't know if I should say where it is. No. Irregardless, if you know me, or
he's working in a small restaurant.
He's working at a small restaurant. Irregardless, I am really proud of what they have done for him, because he started his first job and he's flipping burgers. Like, this kid is just flipping burgers. That's all he's doing. And then he's worked there for a couple months now.
I think
when
just
did he
before
start?
school
Just
got
before
out.
school got
Just
out.
before
So
school got out,
I think he started, because he was having to work his school schedule. So it must have been right around in May when he started working. So he's only been there for about 2.5 months, but he called me the other day on his way home from work, and he was so excited to tell me that he is getting promoted.
Awesome.
Because he thanked me and his dad for really just teaching him, just stick your nose to the grindstone, and if you do work hard and you prove yourself and you show up for the shitty shifts and you stay late and you put in that extra work, that you do actually get promoted. And I'm really, really, really grateful that this business that he's working for recognized and honored that, versus kind of what you're talking about, what we see more now is it doesn't matter if you are on your phone the entire time not doing anything and taking 15 smoke breaks, and the other person is, taking on the extra workload. They're getting the same benefits
and dust in the windows.
Yeah, so I'm really happy that his first job experience gave him that, because it's going to keep that energy. He doesn't. There's no reason for him to just be like, this job is just a job and it doesn't matter what I do, so I'm going to give up too. Yeah. So super grateful for that. If you know my son and you know where he's working and you are a part of that business, kudos to you guys, and thank you so much for giving my son such a great opportunity.
Yeah, and in a small town.
And teaching him, and to really hold strong to those values that we instill.
Yeah, so, right.
Yeah.
Because that hasn't really been Dakota's experience through
It
his
has not.
employers.
It has not. No.
A little bit, but not.
And it wasn't necessarily for me either.
Right.
A little bit depending on what job I was in, but you know, the one that I worked in for almost 5 years before I left to be a stay-at-home mom, I worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
I worked hard, but I'm a knowledge person, so I want to do everything. I want to learn every aspect. I want to have my hands on everything, like, you know, teach me every one of them. And I was given a little bit here and there, but my biggest reason for leaving wasn't just because I was having a baby and I could become a stay-at-home mom. It was really because I had asked for a raise. I had put in for a small raise and I was denied.
Mm-hmm.
I was denied, and I felt really crushed because I was doing the work of 3 or 4 people and working really hard.
Yes.
And I felt like I really deserved that. Maybe I didn't, you know, but at the end of the day, but looking at the situation and then seeing that the person that they hired in my place got that raise, I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that really kind of crushed me a little bit. I was not happy about that because I worked really hard. I was introduced by my leads and my supervisors and directors. I was introduced as the jack of all trades. They'd throw me anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can do anything. So
you're a go-getter.
I am and a dabbler. I like to dabble in a lot of things. So that wasn't my experience either. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it's exhausting. Yeah. That is exhausting, right. Especially when I was raised in the generation like you. It was, you work hard and you get recognized for it. Right. You know, you raised us that way too. And so when we bust ass, you know, that nose is to the grindstone, we're shaving it off. Mm-hmm. And we're not getting, you know, a penny to live off of, basically. Right. It's really tough. Yeah. So I think that is part of the reason why we are so exhausted. Yeah.
Well, and then the other part, for going back to the Gen X part of it, like I was saying, was we're working, you know, multiple jobs or one full-time job. Some of us are going to be working even real high stress jobs. Yep. And on top of that, we're taking care of, I can't speak for myself on this yet, but taking care of our aging parents. Mm-hmm. And because of our economy and today's economy, and even for the last 10 or even 15 years, it's been tough, especially the last 10 years for sure. Because I bought our house 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then after that, everything has just climbed up. So young people today are having a hard time. Being able to even get affordable rent is impossible. Getting a home for themselves, a starter home, is $500,000 right now. It's insane out here. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of our younger generation, our kids and our grandkids are either living with us or we're having to help them out financially, or, you know, like with babysitting or whatever it takes.
Do you think that part of that is because society is kind of turned to it, everybody's on a level playing field in the workforce?
I think that could have a lot to do with it, honestly. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody gets a trophy crap. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't either.
I don't. But I don't know, like, as far as the housing market and all that, no, that's just,
it's just the economy.
Yeah.
It is. It sucks. And
it's hard because you want to teach your kids to work hard, get out there, get your first home. Like, I know Dakota, he really wants to buy his first house.
I know.
But it's impossible. When your house payments are going to be $4,000 and $5,000 a month,
interest rates are
insane.
So high.
And I know it can be done. Okay, I understand that, yes, and but I feel bad because it's not for it can be done for the select few. But for those, I mean, I know how hard my son works.
He's working hard, and he's got a good job.
And he's got a
really good job. He's working for a big company, and he's, you know, he's not just a burger flipper like my boy is right now. But
everybody needs a burger flipper.
Everybody does need everybody needs a hopper.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right. So,
I mean, I guess I was always raised to respect the janitor with the same. You give the janitor the same respect that you would give the CEO. Right. You know, that doesn't mean that they get the same benefits. That doesn't mean they're on the same pay level or things like that. But you respect them all the same, because, like, we see it in the school district. those of us like us as school bus drivers, we're important. You know, we are important. There are plenty of times when we are not recognized and we feel like, hey, you know, I mean, I know we're not a teacher.
We're at the back of the burner, but we still build relationships with these students.
We do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, that's a big deal.
I remember when my daycare, so I was able to be a stay-at-home mom. I was a single mom for most of my raising of children.
Yes.
And so I think, so anyway, in order to be a stay-at-home mom, to continue to be a stay-at-home mom when I was going through divorce, I decided to open up an in-home daycare back in the 90s. And
Country Bumpkin was its name.
Or it was in the early 2000s.
It was early 2000s,
Yeah.
The Country Bumpkin Daycare.
Yeah, and it was cute.
It was cute.
The sign got stolen. The sign got stolen, you guys. My sign. And I'm so sad because I had the kids put their little hand and feet prints and I put the dates on it and the kids' names on the sign, and it was so cute. And somebody stole my freaking sign and I never did find it.
No.
We searched and searched.
And I've never seen it come up either.
No.
It's such a weird thing to steal. But
So,
anyways, keep going.
anyhow, I started daycare, and then when the recession of 2008 hit, it hit me in 2006, and I had some unfortunate circumstances. I didn't have my client's circumstances affected me. One of them was diagnosed terminal cancer, very sad, pulled her kids from daycare to be home with them. Another one had lost her job, so she didn't need daycare anymore, and another one was moving out of state, and those kids were gone. And I went from a full daycare down to, I have 2 kids left in daycare. What am I going to do? I have to do something. So I went down, and again, I lived in a different small town. And I went into the local gas station. I think it was Shell back then, or Texaco or something.
No,
Might have
it
been
was
Texaco.
It was Shell.
Oh, did it change to Texaco?
It did.
Okay.
And I think it's still Texaco when I went through there.
Okay. Irregardless, so I go down to the local Shell station, and I walked in there, and I said, I need a job. I sat down, and this was basically my interview. I said, I will work nights, I will work weekends, I will work holidays. I don't care. You just put me to work. And they started me the very next day. And I was working that part-time job. And I remember, and I did have to work every holiday.
Yes, you did.
I was gone for Christmas. I was gone for Thanksgiving because they were always open. I worked the night shift. I did it. But I will say that your great-grandpa Kernigan, because I was kind of embarrassed, like, you know, I mean, man, I was a stay-at-home mom all these years, and now I'm working at a freaking gas station, fast food, you know, thing, and I felt kind of like, this is a job for a teenager, right? This is not for an adult like me.
Right.
That was my mentality at that time, and I remember complaining. I wasn't complaining, but I must have mentioned something, and my frustration maybe, and he said, honey, he says, you get in there and you do the best job you can. You wipe down those doors with pride. You sweep those floors. You vacuum those rugs. You do it all with pride. Because no good job, no honest job. No, how did he say it? Something about it, an honest job. Any honest job is worth having, or something along those lines. He said to me, and I was like, oh, you know, so. I gave it my all. I did everything I could do, and So anyway, I was always a go-getter that way. Sadly, everything took a bad turn for me after that.
But you know what?
And we lost
everything.
But
the horses. We did get to keep them.
I fought to keep the horses, though. That was a struggle, and thankfully, without my husband, we would not have been able to keep the horses. I don't know what I was going to do with them, because Nikki, she was my heart horse, and if it wasn't for my Kevin, there's no way we would have been able to keep him.
I wouldn't have the mare that I have had for 21 years if it wasn't for him either.
So shout out to you, honey. Thank you.
Shout out to my dad.
Because
he's actually my bonus dad. He's my stepdad, but shout out to him because he saved my horse's life too.
And that's a fact. That
I was gonna lose her.
It makes me tear up even thinking about that day. I know. That was awful.
And we just raced in our very first pro rodeo.
I know. Woo! And you didn't get that last.
I didn't get that last. that was cool. My whole goal was to beat my time from last weekend. I did that, and I didn't place last.
Yes.
So it was great. It was great.
Kept them all up.
So, okay, before we get too far off subject and onto the horses now. Oh, geez, I kind of did tear up. And I just got my lashes done.
And we can talk horses all day and all night and all day and every day.
All day.
We love horse talk.
So, let's touch on our childhoods because they were very different, but we have a lot of the same adult problems. So what did your childhood look like? Give like a brief overview. What did yours?
So mom and dad, of course, had me, got married, and
did your parents
moved into
get married before they had you, or were they pregnant? I've never known that. I've never asked, and now I'm curious.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. Grandpa Bud walked into the hospital after mom had me, and he looked at my mom, and he looked at me, and he said, "Funny, the first ones only take 6 months, but the rest of them take 9."
Okay. So maybe a shotgun wedding?
They wanted to get married when they, it wasn't, it was not.
It was already planned.
They did not get married because mom got pregnant with me. No.
Anyways, keep going.
So I was raised in a nice little suburb house, little ranch rambler. My mom still lives in that house today, so I have that stability. You kids have always had that stability of grandma's house.
Very aware. Anytime I get lost, somehow I end up at grandma's house.
She's your beacon.
Yep.
I was raised, so mom and dad stayed married until my dad passed away, so now they're still married at heart. So I was raised in a home where I had a lot of stability. I was really, truly blessed in my childhood, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
I was also a very, very good kid. I don't like conflict, I don't like fighting, and I don't like being in trouble. So not to say that I was always perfect, but I was pretty darn near perfect as you could get for a child, for sure. I don't disagree.
What kind of freedoms did you have?
Not many. No. No. So mom and dad, okay, they loved us, and I've never ever doubted my parents' love for us and our love for them. My brother and I, we had our typical brother, sister, sibling fights. But mom and dad, so I was a latchkey kid. I did come home from school and sometimes had to get myself off to school by the time I was in the 3rd grade. And came home from school in the 3rd grade by myself. My job, my one specified chore was I had to do the dishes. That was my daily, everyday chore. I had to get the dishes done. And they better be done by the time they got home from work, I tell you, or else I was going to be in trouble. I can remember one night, I was older then, I was a teenager probably. And I remember one night I did not get the dishes done. And I went to bed, and dad came home late. I don't remember why he was out late, but he was gone late. And he walked in that house and he saw those dishes weren't done. And I heard all of a sudden, next thing I hear him yelling, and mom's like, "Tony, she'll get them done in the morning. It's fine, Greg." Nope, it was not fine. My dad was strict, but not overly, you know. But it was around midnight.
He had high standards.
He did, and by God, I broke that rule. I did not get those dishes done, whether it was because mom said I could just go to bed and not worry about it, or I don't even know. I don't remember why I didn't get the dang dishes done, but I didn't get them done. Dad walked in the door, he saw those dishes, and it was like, boom. He ran in, he went into my room, slammed open that door, flicked on that light, and said, "You get out there and do those dishes." Yeah. So, while some people might find that super traumatizing and, oh my God, I was abused, no. You know what that taught me? Work ethic. It taught me follow through. It taught me to get, just
get the job done.
Just get it done. I was told to do it and I didn't do it. And and in fact, they didn't have to tell me every day to do it. You in there and do the dishes, dude. They did tell me a lot. But also there was the expectation that I knew. So it wasn't like when I came home from school in 3rd grade and I had to call mom first thing. As soon as I walked in the door, call your mom. And
that was on an old rotary phone?
Yep, rotary phone. Had to pick her, and mom still has that phone actually.
I got to play with it when I was a kid. She was play with it.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to call mom, and it wasn't like she told me every time, now make sure you do the dishes. I knew I had to do the dishes. A lot of the times our conversation would just be, "Okay, mom, I'm home, I'm safe. Okay, you can have this for snack or whatever." If it wasn't already set out, and a lot of times mom would probably just set out whatever I could have for snack if there was, but I didn't come up from a family where it's like, I have to start dinner and, all those things. That was not my personal experience in life. I started babysitting very young, not very, very young, but by the time I was 11 years old, I was babysitting my younger cousins And as soon as I turned 12, I was babysitting for the whole neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a good babysitter, and still am. I love kids. They've been a part of my life forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I made my extra money to buy horse magazines and candy. And I saved my money and bought my first horse just 1 month shy of my 19th birthday. Much
And your
to my
parents did not
disgrace.
help you
At all
by
with that. Mom and Dad, when I got
and that
in-
was Corey.
that was Corey.
That was Corey.
Yeah, and
'Cause
Mom.
then you got Okie.
Mom got scared in August, so I bought Corey in March 10th of 1990. I bought Corey, and I'm still living at home, but I had a job. I was making $3.25 an hour,
Wow.
and so
that was minimum wage, or were you just above?
I think I actually started at $2.95 an hour, maybe, and I got up to $3.25.
Okay.
Or maybe I started at $3.25 and went up to $3.50 an hour. It might have been minimum wage or just over, just right in that minimum wage thing back then. I don't remember. But I remember Mom, she called me and she was like, and I was at work, and she said, "Tony, you need to sell that horse," because she was worried that winter's coming. And she was mortified that I wasn't going to be able to take care of her, that I don't understand the cost of feed. And my horse was staying for free at my friend's house down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And she was really scared that I wasn't going to be able to maintain that. She said, "You need to sell that horse." And she asked me what I thought she was worth. And my mother called the little nickel one ads and put an ad in the paper for Corey. And oh man, I cried. But she never sold, and I did keep her. And
It was meant to be.
It was meant, and I learned, and that was a lesson I had to, she was my responsibility, and I've had a horse every single day of my life since March 10th of 1990, and I'm including getting my heart horse, Nikki, and, and so. Yeah.
So overall, you would say that your childhood was pretty simple?
I would say my childhood was simple. Oh, also, I was raised really close-knit. Our extended family was very close-knit with everybody. So my mom's side, she was raised with 7, she was one of 8 siblings, or 8 kids.
8 kids.
So she had 7 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them and their kids, we were all really close. I was close with all of my aunts and uncles on both sides of my family, my dad's side and my mom's side. And we had big family get-togethers, and, it was, I was one of the older cousins, but really close with all of my cousins. We had, we all had, like, my brother had several cousins his age. I had a few I was still the oldest, but, just right below me.
Mm-hmm.
I had, 2 years apart or something like that. But we were really raised in a very close-knit family, and very much so spent time with both sets of grandparents on both sides, and really enjoyed all those family get-togethers, honestly. As our family got so big, as families do, we ended up having to stop doing, like, Christmas. I remember we always did Christmas Eve at Grandma Winnie's house, and we had to stop doing it at the house because we outgrew the house. Mm-hmm. We ended up renting the Grange. The family would somehow get together and rent the Grange, and we'd all get. I remember going to that one in Lake Stevens there.
Nope.
You don't remember? I took you guys. You were pretty young, but yeah, we did. So I was raised in a good close-knit family.
I was not raised that way. We were not close to our extended family, but I'm oldest. All of my cousins are 10 years at least younger than me.
How old is Nicole?
I don't know. In her 20,
early 20s. So yeah, probably almost 10.
I think it's about 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was part of it, is because there wasn't anybody.
There wasn't anybody. Nobody. Yeah, you guys all grew up together, and then you guys grew up and chose not to have kids at the earlier time in life.
Well, also you got to realize, like, Dad, he came from a family of, he was one of 4 kids.
4. Mm-hmm.
So, and then Mom was one of 8 kids. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of kids there where Mom and Dad just had me and Matt.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have.
I only got one set of cousins.
Right.
And they chose to wait until they were older
to have kids.
Right. Which fine, because I love my cousins. They're great.
Oh, they're great kids.
They're great kids.
Kudos and shout out to my brother, dude. You and
kids.
Sarah raised some amazing daughters.
Yep.
Yes.
All 3 of them.
3 nieces, and they're great kids. One of them went into the Marine Corps. The other one just joined the Air Force. The other one could graduate this year early because she's in Running Start?
She's in some sort of college program.
Yeah, she's going to graduate with a degree.
Yeah.
A degree.
Yep.
Go Matthew. Woo! Go Sarah. You guys did great.
Yep, doing great. Yeah, so my childhood very much differed from that. I would say I still had a simple childhood, but that was because we were raised not with a lot.
You were raised on a small farm.
We were raised on a small farm. We
had horses from the day you were born.
Yep, I always had a horse, even if it was one that I didn't want at the time. Oh, we're taking a nappy. And let's see,
that
my brothers,
taught you kids' work ethic from early on, because you were, 2 years old and you were toddling around learning how to fill water tubs
feed,
and heavy sow.
Yes.
Brushing a horse. I only had one.
You had Opie.
I had two until you were about just a year old, and then I sold Corey.
Yep. Yeah. 2 brothers, whom I love very much, but boy, we can throw down. Still will.
If needed.
If needed. Still will. I would say my youngest brother and I definitely don't throw down as much as my
because Dakota has my personality.
Yes.
And
Michael and I are
very
we are 2 type A. Yeah. It can be rough, but man, it's comical looking back on some of our fights.
Oh yeah.
So yes, raised very differently. I was not necessarily home alone a lot. Like, I didn't come because you ran an in-home daycare. Right. So we didn't even live, our first house I got to ride a school bus.
You did.
And I remember because at the time, obviously all the way up until middle school, I sang a lot, choir, honor choir, all of that. And so my friend and I at the time, we would sit at the very front of the bus and we would sing to our bus driver, and she just loved it.
I love that too when I had kids do that.
I have actually sang on my bus to get kids to come down to a better level. Yes. And then they'll start kind of singing. And one day we had the whole bus singing. So it was a lot of fun. But so yeah, I only rode the bus for a couple of years, and then we moved. And then we were out of the bus zone. So you had to drive us. So yeah, I was never really home alone a lot. I didn't have to come home from school and do chores. I mean, we did chores, but not like on our own. You were always there, kind of thing.
It wasn't.
I was also in a divorced family though, so I didn't have dad. I didn't have that father structure like you had.
Right.
I had you. And so it was a little bit different, you definitely.
We have a different dynamic to our
very
relationship.
Very much different dynamic
than I had with my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. And because.
Both of them are good.
Yeah, oh yes.
But my relationship with my mom and the relationship with my dad, my parents,
very
good relationship, but very different from what I have with, sure. Yeah.
So that is kind of where we really differ a whole lot. But even with the generational differences from age-wise or year-wise, the parenting, I don't think really is that much different. I mean, I'm a little bit meaner than you were, I think, but...
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I've raised some good kids, though.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I think...
I get to my emotions.
You're very emotional.
I'm not like emotional, like emotional, but my heart is huge.
You're a coddler.
I'm a coddler.
Yeah, I'm not a coddler.
And I'm not always. Now, not always, but I definitely have more of that maternal instinct, natural,
Oh, you're a coddler.
And
we all.
And it's different to me now because raising with the granddaughters, the things that maybe would have upset me when you were kids, I find humor in it now, right?
Oh, I'm aware.
So there's a whole different perspective for me
There's definitely been quite a few times where I was like, man, if my brothers or I had done that, we would have totally gotten in trouble. But you're over there laughing it off like it's no business. And I'm like, how come we got in trouble for that? But that's that aging difference. And also too, times have changed. Times have changed. And so Yeah. Okay. Moving forward
on.
now.
Okay.
We're gonna move on now. So, again, why are we so exhausted?
Oh, so what I was going to say, they also call us Gen X, the sandwich generation, because we're
I
taking,
don't think I've ever heard that.
yeah, we're in the middle of aging parents and kids that are trying to get off the ground too, right? Establish their own lives. So we're the
Okay.
sandwich generation that is having to take care of both ends of the spectrum and ourselves. And who's taking care of Gen X? If we aren't taking care of us, who's taking care of us?
I would say me, but I guess I don't really take care of you. I just tell you to figure it out.
You do.
I do.
You do.
I do.
No, Mom. My life is way more important than yours. You're taking my kid, and I'm doing this, and you can just figure it out.
You can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you were raised that way too. Go find something to do.
Yes.
Figure it out.
My
Figure it out.
dad's catchphrase, really growing up, I remember it, and I can still hear it in my head. Go find something to do.
Yeah.
When
Get
we
out
were
of my
getting
business.
underfoot, go find something to do. And they very much had their specific, this is mom and dad time. We're having adult conversations that are not for little kid ears, or you guys go find something to do. We lived on a dead-end street, woods on both sides of the street. So we were out building forts and riding our bikes down to the store, and we would hunt around the house and find change so we could go to this local store with our 75 cents or $1 and buy our candy and the store, mind you, it wasn't just a block down the road. It was about 1.5 miles, 2 miles. I bet you Tom Thumb's 2 miles away.
Never blocked it.
I'm gonna have to one of these days. I'm curious now because.
But was your route? I bet you your route was probably different. There was a lot of woods back there.
No, we walked down the road.
Oh, you did just walk.
Oh, yes.
You guys didn't have a trail or something.
Not to Tom Thumb. To the school we did.
Okay.
Across Highway 9, but to the stores, both stores, B&M or Tom Thumb, they were a couple miles away.
It is a couple miles.
And most of the time, it was funny. We usually walked to Tom Thumb and rode our bikes to the B&M because it was flatter going to B&M. But Tom Thumb was way up. We had to leave Tom Thumb and go up this big hill, and none of us ever really wanted to ride our bikes for that. But yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
And you never had that experience.
No.
You never got to just get your change and get with your friends or the neighborhood kids or your siblings and just walk to the store, ride your bike to the store. You never did that.
No, because we never lived in town.
Well, I didn't live in town either. But,
No,
but looking back, we never did that. And if we did go anywhere, it was on horseback, and we rode through town over to our friend
Friend's
Sherry's house or over to Sue's house.
But even then, again, different times. I mean, we lived on a major highway. So it wouldn't have necessarily, I mean, I'm betting you it wouldn't have been safe with no shoulders to walk to the freaking store, which, and our first house, I would have been too young, honestly.
The first house,
when
no,
we
I was
moved.
thinking the second house because your brothers would have been older then to be able to all get together and go to the Red Apple store.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a really far go. I would have
It was
never
only
done
3
that.
miles.
No.
Yeah, see, no, look at her, no. Us kids, we were like 3 miles, shoot, give us 10, we'll do it.
Nope.
We'd do anything for candy in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Not anything.
Right, but you would definitely put in the work to go and get it.
That's
for
right.
sure.
That's how come we didn't get fat on candy. We were exercising
We're
our way
walking
there
it
and
off.
back.
Yeah, burn the calories to get there, put it back on, burn them off when you get home.
Beating each other up on the way home.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
trying to trade out what we didn't. We bought something we didn't like, so now we have to trade it with something that we do like from one of the kids that maybe bought something we did like. I really like the candy
Well-
cigarettes. I thought I was so cool smoking my candy cigarette. And you know what? I'm not a smoker today. So those of you that think if your kid has candy cigarettes, they're going to grow up to be smokers, not true.
Not true. No, never smoked.
Both of my parents were smokers and drinkers,
Yeah.
and I never became a smoker or a drinker, and neither did my brother.
No.
Quite the opposite, actually.
My mom wasn't a smoker or a drinker. My dad was a smoker, and I ended up a smoker and a drinker. But I quit smoking when I found out I was pregnant. And I've never turned back. I've never picked it back up again.
It's icky.
I never will.
It's
No,
icky.
it makes me. Ugh. I can't even stand the smell of it. I can't believe that I
can't believe you
smell
did
like
it
that either. But irregardless, so I guess when we talk about why we're all exhausted, even in different generations, I would say the exhaustion now
is different than the exhaustion.
It is
then.
different than the exhaustion then. I would say that the exhaustion now, looking at it, comes from that constant stimulation that we're all under all the time. Devices. And with the devices comes constant contact with the outside world or people. Like, you can't just go home and not answer the phone or unplug it from the wall and just be left alone unless somebody knocked on your door. We have our devices near us all the time, and so we're at beck and call all the time, not just for your friendships and your families, but work and social media. So you're always stimulated, and it's exhausting.
And some of us, not me, but in general, people are more absorbed in people's drama.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's not even just social media. It's freaking TV.
Yeah.
All the reality TV shows, they started up when you kids were real little. A couple, like Survivor and Fear Factor and stuff like that was fun and entertaining. But now all this, I
It's all
don't even
drama.
watch it. Real Wives of whatever and all that kind of stuff that's just so dramatic TV. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know, because I don't watch it.
Mhm.
But I think that's exhausting too. You can't, like, you watch it for entertainment, but then it's also
You're absorbing,
Yeah.
you're absorbing the trauma.
But
that
the whole never getting away from it. And then the feeling of anxiety you get when you do go into a place that's out of service. If you do go up in the mountains, you're anxiety ridden because of what you might be missing on social media or
a message from somebody.
well, now everybody puts so much weight on texting or messaging, right? And if they sent you a text and they don't hear from you in 5 minutes, well, oh my God, now you're not friends anymore. If they texted you 15 times and you were out of service or you just didn't feel like answering, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. Now you're not friends no more.
Yeah.
Where back in the 80s, when we didn't want to be friends with somebody anymore, we just scribbled their face out in the annual. That's it. That's how we unfriended people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my girlfriend and I one time in my childhood, I had a friend that lived right next door to me, and she was 2 years younger than me, but we were really, really close. We played Barbies together. We played Wizard of Oz together. We played on the swing set together. We had the old swing set. If you get swinging too high, the thing would flip over.
I had one of those. I do remember it flipping a few times.
Yeah, you got to be real. Yeah. Anyway, mine was never buried in the ground fancy and all that, so we couldn't swing
Mine
our
wasn't
hearts
either.
out. We'd flip over. I know, and Grandma and Papa bought you that swing.
Yeah,
When you were like
well,
5.
I can tell you that
4
we
or 5.
definitely flipped it over a couple of times.
And shoot, I came from what was I saying?
Lived down the street, neighbor.
I had my one friend, and what was my thought? Oh, so then her and I might get into a tiff, We're not friends. I'm not friends with you anymore or whatever. I don't even know what would cause a fight, but I remember telling each other that we're not going to be friends anymore, and we'd each go to our house and slam our door and go in our room and slam our bedroom door, and we'd cry and we'd be upset about it, But that would only last about 2 hours, and then we would be bored or we'd want to do something with your friends. So back down the road, one of us would go. Either she'd come up to my house, knock on the door, can so-and-so come play with me? And, she'd come out, I'm sorry. So we
But
had to
was the
have
thing.
that.
You guys had to have that face-to-face and an apology and learn to conflict resolve
Right,
and just move forward.
right. And I think that has really gone by the wayside now that I
Because
think
of
about
media.
it. Shoot. Yeah.
The
But it
real-
would be funny.
I do believe that media and devices and technology has definitely taken sincerity away from
Yeah.
relationships and from conflict,
Conflict,
resolution.
yeah.
Because
And in fact, what do we tell our girls now? And they're getting into a fight and they want to come and tattle on so-and-so, and I tell them, it's conflict resolution, figure it out,
figure it out.
And I tell them, figure it out. Yeah.
Well, Evelyn, she had her friends here the other day. The next thing I know, one of them comes marching over and sits down on the couch and is pouting, and I was like, what is going on? And Evelyn told me to get out of her room, and I'm like, figure it out,
Yeah.
Well, I did ask her why, but
Right.
irregardless, I was like, you guys can figure it out. I'm not getting personally involved in those little tips. It's not, unless they are knocked down, drag out, somebody's gonna harm somebody, seriously harm somebody, or an accident, a major accident's going to happen, I just let them figure it out.
That's
I don't
right.
care. And go out in the yard with the boxing gloves and box it out if you need to.
It's a horrible phrase now. Looking back, I probably should have never said it when you kids were little.
If
but
you're not bleeding
from the jugular, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I grew up with that one. If you're not bleeding, and I use that. And then
looking
the other
back,
one,
it's probably not the best thing to say to your kids, but oh well, you survived.
Survived. But it made me realize, like, seriously, if I am not like seriously hurt, suck it up. Suck it up and get over it.
Right.
I'm like that with my kids. The other one was,
It's not even about hurt.
the other one was growing up with you was if we got hurt, you would tell us, it's a long ways from your heart.
Yeah.
Walk it off.
I did say that a lot.
Yeah. I say that one too. It's a long ways from your heart. You're fine.
Yeah, that's right.
So
And
I
my
think
mom
that's
always said when I'd come home with like a friend hurt my feelings, because all right, y'all, in third grade, I was the tallest kid in my class. In my probably school girl, I was the tallest. I grew up,
which is wild
really
because
fast.
you're really not that tall.
I know, but I grew up really fast. So, and my name being Tony, I was called Tony the Too Tall Skyscraper, Tony Baloney. So one day I came home after the boys were teasing me, and all the boys were short. They were short, and I was like head taller than these kids. I know, funny, right? And so I come home and I'm crying. Oh, they call me Tony the Too Tall Skyscraper, and I'm devastated. I mean, my heart is broken, and I'm ugly, and I'm too tall, and I was real skinny then, But so anyhow, I come home, and my mom always would tell me, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And I'm like, but you don't understand, So, and mom also always told me, turn your frown upside down. You get further with a smile than you do with a frown. Mom would always say those things to me. Yeah. And
and see, that is a lot of difference in parenting then versus parenting now. Now, mind you, I am not a soft parent.
No.
At all. Like,
no, I can't
the
even,
soft parenting thing is that to me.
When it is absolutely warranted that they need a hug, and
you'll get one.
But it has to be super warranted.
I'm not kidding you. The boys, they had to teach me how to be a hugger because I am not a personal touch person. I don't like.
Yeah, you want that? Not even. Yeah.
No.
As soon as Evelyn was on her own, that's it. Don't cuddle with me.
I like to hug my horses.
Yeah,
I like to hug my dog.
Right.
I don't like people touching me. So I'm not a soft parent. I don't necessarily believe in the stigma of soft parenting that is in today's society because of things such as that. You came home from school and you were called Tony the Too Tall Skyscraper, so you're devastated, you're broken, you're being bullied.
I was sad.
Okay,
yeah.
You were bullied, and your mom.
We didn't even have that word back then. Well, we had the word bully, but
but bullies
bullied wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, it was a totally different thing.
Totally
to be
different
back
thing.
Then. Yeah.
And your mom, bless her, told you sticks and stones, dear.
Yeah.
Sticks and stones.
That's
Get
right.
over it.
Yeah.
Now, the difference in today's society is every single, at least what I'm seeing as a school bus driver. This is just my perspective. So hate me if you want to. Today, you see kids that get called a name by somebody,
Or they don't like your shoes.
or no, we're
Shoes are
gonna
ugly.
stick with the name thing. We so and so got called Mr. Clean because the kid came to school with a shaved head. Okay, this kid is devastated because he gets called Mr. Clean. Now, mind you, this actually did happen on my bus of all things. And I am not a soft parent. Okay,
You're not a soft
I'm
bus
also
driver
not a
either.
soft bus driver. I love majority. I would say there is something about every single one of the kids that touches and gets onto my bus.
Yes.
Yes, there is a connection with every single one of them.
I think you're a great bus driver. When I see you interact with the kids, though, you do an awesome job.
I try really
You
hard,
really
but
do.
I had to learn. The first
Yes, you
year or
did.
two was rough.
Yes.
The first year or two
We
was
all
rough.
agree. The first
I had to
couple
learn.
years.
And
You had to
a lot
learn
of
balance.
a lot of those kids had to teach me that.
Yeah.
But irregardless, I got this kid. He got called Mr. Clean. Okay. I don't see a big deal in it. I don't, because I'm like, really? Who cares?
Because,
And so that's what I tell this kid.
and the reason he was being called Mr. Clean was because of the Mr. Clean picture of on the advertisement, right?
Yes, because
he's bald.
he had hair, and then he came to school with no hair. His hair was buzzed off.
Right.
You know,
It's like
no
being
big
called
deal.
Four Eyes if you wear glasses.
Yes.
Mhm.
He looked fine bald. Honestly, I think he looked better with short hair than he does with longer hair. Regardless, you know, he is devastated and broken. And not to mention, his own sibling is the one that started it.
Oh.
Yeah. And so this kid is so devastatingly broken. And I'm back here and he's, you know, Miss Gabby, they're calling me Mr. Clean. And I just kind of looked at him and I said, so? Sticks and stones, kid. Like, words can't hurt you. Own it.
Right.
Who cares? Come up with a joke. I said, come up with a joke to get back at him. Like, my goodness. Okay, well, apparently that didn't go over well because I got an email the next day and a phone call like, so what's going on? I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. But here's the problem.
Right.
Parents get too involved. Parents, instead of their kid coming home and saying, I got called Mr. Clean today and I'm devastated and broken about it, and the parent saying, really? Who cares?
Right.
Why does that bother you so much? It's just words.
Okay.
They didn't physically hurt you.
Mhm.
You know, toughen up. Grow some thick skin. Learn how to give it back to them. Parent then had to go and their child is being bullied. And I'm like, how? Because I'm a bully. Okay, like I grew up a bully. I am a bully. I'm a very type A person. I have absolutely no shame in admitting that I am a bully.
I bullied you kids. I would say I was a bully.
But
to
you were a bully too.
in a
You
different
still are.
way. Oh, please, no.
But
Sometimes
even
I
my
am.
own kids, like our oldest, will say I am his biggest bully.
Yeah.
But I taught him how to be a tough kid.
Yeah.
And he is better because I was mean. I'm mean, you know. Yes, my kids get called names. Absolutely. Do they fire back at me?
Absolutely.
There has been a few where I'm like,
We've had
wow,
some real good ones.
that was
Kudos,
good.
man.
Yes, like Nux, man, that was rad.
That's how we go with it.
But
It's
that's
like, yeah, they want to throw out names or whatever, and then if they come back with a great retort, we're like, dang, that's awesome.
why didn't I think of that?
Right?
Yeah.
And then I remember with Evelyn that one time, I was like, man, we're going to have to level up our game,
I have
man.
to
This
level
girl
up.
is witty.
And
yeah.
I still have to.
Sometimes we just are like, whoa.
There's
we
been a
step
few
back on
shocking
Ev.
moments
Yeah.
with that child. So,
And Rose, that one time when she said to Ev, what I really want is for you to shut your mouth before I shut it for you.
yes, yes, and see, and that's a lot of the, I think, part of the exhaustion that's happening for a lot of people
Across the board. We're
across
dealing
all
with all
generations.
these little teeny fires, and
All the time.
none of it is really a big fire.
And none of it's a big deal.
But all of it, it's like making a mountain out of every tiny little molehill.
Yep.
And that is exhausting.
It's
to deal
exhausting. It is exhausting. And as a parent, it's exhausting. As an employer and an employee, it's
Yeah.
exhausting.
with.
You know, it's exhausting. I can say I will never work in the school district outside of being a school bus driver
Yeah.
because I could never be in the office like those people. When I do go into the office for whatever reason and I see what they're dealing with,
I'm a rough cut of the board for sure.
nope, I could never do it. So bless all of you teachers. Kudos to you, you know, teachers, paras,
All of
admin,
ya.
all
Yeah.
of you guys. I don't know how you do it, at least in today's society, because today's society versus how I grew up and how you grew up is so vastly different. And that definitely leads to a lot of the exhaustion. And if I could give anybody a piece of advice, whether you like it or not, it would be let your kids figure some shit out.
Yeah.
Like seriously,
Right.
let your kids figure out that, you know, sometimes you got to get a bloody nose to figure out how the playground rules work.
Mhm.
You know, instead
Yeah.
of getting so involved in every single little friend tiff and every single little, you know, thing that happens, let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I was raised to figure it out. We had to conflict
And sometimes
resolve.
you do have to cut the rose off the stem.
Yes.
And that's it. You're going to lose a friend.
You're going to
You
lose
know,
them.
and
Mhm.
I tried to teach you kids too, like,
Not
well,
everybody
you know
has
what?
to be your friend.
Not everybody has to be a
Mhm.
friend. And if they're going to treat you like that, then maybe they're not a true friend.
And you are not
So
everybody's
guess
cup of
what?
tea.
That's correct.
You are
Not everybody
everybody's
has
cup
to
of
like
tea.
you.
Mm-mm.
That's right. You just
No.
told me that recently.
Yes.
Mom,
I
not
did.
everybody has to like you.
I absolutely did because I just cannot
and I
understand
can't remember
why.
what I was upset about.
The one school bus driver that you have a tip
Oh my
with
gosh, yes.
from the other
She
district.
already forgot. That's how important that was.
Well, that's because I told you. Not everybody has to like you. I don't know why you're so hung up on
But he was rank, okay? He
I don't
needed to
care.
be reined in.
I don't
Good
care.
Lord.
I mean,
Yeah,
person.
I had to do. I forgot all about that.
But irregardless, if I could give one piece of advice to a lot, I mean, okay, if I could give advice, I've got a lot to give. But that is one, right now especially, that I would continue to give out is stop getting so personally involved in every single little aspect of your child's lives. Be involved as a parent, be involved in their education, be involved in their athletics and those memories that you get to build with them and building their future. Stay out of their friendship.
You
Your
know,
kid is
and
not
I
your
hear
friend.
you. I'm going to interrupt. I'm interjecting. I hear
Fine.
you. I really do. But something just came to light with me when you're talking about this.
Light bulb.
I absolutely agree to a degree.
Okay.
But right now, the problem is social media. The problem is online bullying. The problem is all of this stuff that is happening to these children outside of the school playground, outside of the school bus, outside of being at the playground, you know, at the park or the river and having a little tiff with a kid, like it was for me in the 80s. So I was called this name. Okay, maybe I was called Tony the Too Tall Skyscraper at school, but I go home, I cry to my mom and everything. Okay, it's all better, and I go to school, and okay, and mom probably gave me some advice to deal with that little kid calling me that name, like whatever, call him a little twerp or something, I don't know. Okay. But nowadays, I do believe it's a huge thing where a kid might be called Tony the Too Tall Skyscraper at school. Now that bully is going to be, or that student, or maybe not even a bully yet, but now, since that word is so broad, that student now gets a hold of them on Messenger or on Facebook or on, I don't even know, TikTok, or I don't know how all those things work because I'm not techie like that. So this never gets away from them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where parents have to be more involved outside of just parenting anymore because it's dangerous out there. And that bully might not be another kid, which is hugely concerning. It's social media.
Yeah.
The only way to combat that is you don't let your kids have social media at all. Well, how are you going to do that? Because every friend that they go to is going to have social media. Like, it's a true, so there's that massive factor where you want to say, be that parent that just says, figure it out.
Right.
And I do agree to a degree. But now in today's society, it is honestly a scary thought to think, like, I'm raising these two little granddaughters of mine, God help us, you know, because I don't let them have internet unsupervised at all. It's for school only. And I'm there monitoring every bit of it. I don't even let them watch unlimited, like, Netflix or YouTube channel. I am so strict on TV. Like, seriously, you guys, you can watch Peppa Pig and Franklin and Bluey, or you know what I mean. It's just Bubble Guppies. She's 9. She's like, I don't want to watch Bubble Guppies anymore. Chip and Potato, you know. But I hate the growing up part, man. And becoming a teen and a pre-tween, what do you call them, tween?
I have no
Pre-teen and a teenager in today's society. I am dreading it. It's going to be a challenge. It's a challenge.
So
and
that's
I
where
think
we can get into, I mean, so my next question would be, so we are generationally exhausted.
Yeah.
I do believe that part of the reason why I'm so exhausted is the fast-paced life that we have to live now versus my childhood was a lot slower. We got
up in the morning, went out, fed horses, had breakfast, and what are we going to do today?
Well,
right?
there wasn't media. There wasn't constant stimulation of a phone. There wasn't people involved in my every single day life. So I could get up and watch a TV
everybody's
show.
opinions on everything.
And I could go outside and ride my horse or play kickball with my brothers or whatever. And I wasn't dealing with other people all the time, where now when I get up in the morning, it's a choice, and I understand that it is a choice to get on my device. But because we've become so accustomed to devices and technology and media and email constantly, like, you know, I mean, my own husband gets up in the morning and he's laying in bed at 3:00 and he's checking emails for work. I mean, that his work day starts at that moment. At that point, he's started now. Versus,
and that's the first thing that I have to do.
having-
I get up first thing, check my text messages, or you know, to see if anybody's called out for the day.
Right.
And I got to be on top of that. And sometimes I wasn't always on top of that. Sometimes I got up late and I went running out to the barn and I didn't check my phone. But trying to be in that
Believe
habit.
me, I know, because then I get the phone calls at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, see?
So
There's always a backup plan.
there is. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Back in, let's say, your parents' day, and even in your day, when
Mom
I
and
was
Dad
growing
got
up,
up
like you as a
early,
parent, and
started
your
their
parents.
coffee, turned on their news,
Exactly.
sat around for a couple hours before they went to work.
Who's coughing?
She had just rolled or something.
Okay.
She's fine.
Okay.
She's snarfing it out.
So, but that's what I'm getting at is when you were growing up and when I was growing up, in those generations, the parent got to get up, maybe turn on the news, have their coffee, make their breakfast, prep their kids for the day, and then
Have their time before they got the kids out of bed. They would have their time to sit and socialize and have a good day
And
when they went
then-
off to work.
you got to go to work.
Yes.
Then that's when your workday started.
Right.
Versus now we live in
When you
a
punch that
society
clock. Yeah.
that our workday starts from the moment we open our eyes because
Essentially.
work is on these devices.
Yeah.
Your email is on your device, your phone calls, your text messages, your, everything. It's all right
It's
there. And I think that that is part of the reason why we are so exhausted, or our generations are becoming so exhausted, because we never get to tune out.
Yeah.
We never get to just clock out and go home and enjoy our life, because it's
Yeah.
always right in our
And
forefront.
In my
And if
next
you choose
generation
to-
and mine,
If you choose to,
there's a price to be
there's
paid.
going to be a price to be paid.
Right. Right.
There's a price to be paid.
Where when my parents, they would come home from work and they might talk some about their day.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, mom would always have my mom, again, guys, write mom in the comments because you got to hear my mom's stories. But mom would come home and talk to dad. And if she had a rough day, or if something funny happened, or if nothing happened, or, and dad, he would talk about his day, and they'd smoke their cigarettes, they'd listen to their music, they'd
Right.
build a fire, barbecue.
Mhm.
We barbecued year round, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Dad really loved to have his barbecues,
Mhm.
and so did mom, and then they would sit and have their adult conversation time, whatever it was, just talk about their day. Sometimes they didn't really talk about a lot. They just listened to music and listened to the birds and,
Yep. Right. And they got
enjoy they got to
downtime.
decompress
They got downtime.
until the next day. And then they'd come in and watch some TV before we went to bed. And we'd, a real treat would be like having cinnamon sugar toast for dessert, when I was a kid. And every now and again, I really you crave that. Like, I had some a few months
There's
ago.
a nostalgia with it for sure.
Oh man, when you get the perfect bread with the perfect melted butter with the
Yeah.
perfect, and it's toasted perfect, it's so freaking good.
Yeah.
And the perfect ratio of cinnamon to sugar.
But that's the thing. The thing
Anyway.
is,
And then go to bed.
today we don't get to get away from that anymore,
Yeah.
and that could be part of the reason why you're so exhausted.
And it goes all the way until you close your eyes.
Yep.
If you don't shut it off, it goes until you close your eyes.
Yep.
And even still, it pings in the middle of the night. But I've learned to sleep through a lot of that, as I well know when you guys come knocking on my door and walk in my bedroom and there you are, Mom, we've been trying to get a hold of you.
There's
And
an
I'm like, "What?"
emergency. My brother's in the hospital. We need to go. Yeah. No, but that's true. That is very true. And so I guess my next thought with that would be, because we are so exhausted with that change and never being able to just decompress and have downtime and get away from work and drama and just be able to at home in your own place, or
Right.
whether it's home or whatever your hobby, whatever it is that you
Right.
do. Now we're raising kids that have these devices starting at some as at the age of 4, 5, 6 on media.
And a lot of them, it's because of divorced families or broken families somehow, and some of them not even broken family. They're even together families, but they want to know where their kids are at all times.
Mhm.
So now these young kids are bringing phones to school, and they are a distraction at school. And that's another argument and fight, I'm sure, that I'm not super involved in because I'm not in the district. But
Did she just roll? I'm sorry. I'm going to pause. Did she just roll again?
I don't know. Where did my thingy go? I can't even find my doodad to turn it
Hey,
on.
Mare. What's going on?
That's right here.
Are you okay? Because you're stressing me out. No, she's not okay.
Uh-oh, what is she doing?
I don't know. She looks like she's trying to roll it. Hey, no.
Uh-oh. We might have to pause this. Let's just do that real quick. Like, ow. Besides, I need to get up and stretch. Here she is. Here's the culprit. Yeah, it's having a problem. She's thinking about having a problem. Are you thinking about having a problem? This is the one how old is Cinnamon now? 21 or 22?
22.
22. 22-year-old. She's the one I worked in trade. I traded some training on a horse when we were really broke. I traded some training in exchange for this one. She was
to run up to the living quarters. I'll be right back.
She was an ugly long yearling, and I mean she was ugly. She was an ugly yearling, but we've had her. We've raised her for 21 years. Yeah, this is my little girl. All right, she's got to do it. She might be trying to colic, so we don't take chances on the Cinnamon. No, we don't take chances on any of them. And I just lost my old man Patches. If any of you are new Patches, yes, he died. It was very sad. I was not expecting to walk out that morning and lose my old man, but he was 25 years old, and very sad to have lost him already. Yeah. So, and that was on June 27th, 2026. Poor buddy. Poor buddy. Hi, baby girl. You think you're okay, but maybe you had a bug bugging you. I don't know. All right, I'll pause it, and then we'll get back and we'll go close this off. And yeah. Hold. Whoops.
Before you.
What?
Before you kick it off, where were we out?
Huh?
Where were we at? Oh, technology and kids today.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. Sorry, we had a little. Well, as you guys already know, because you experienced it with us.
Hold on. Okay. So, my horse is going to be in here with us now because, well, I don't mess around. So, we got some Banamine in her, whether she really truly needed it or not. I don't. This is a horse that has definitely,
Oh, here come the goats.
she's tried to die on us a couple of times, and so I don't mess around with her. So, she's going to hang while we finish this up. So,
That's fine.
Where were we? We were talking about technology kids today. That was my next thing is I wonder just how exhausted this next generation is going to be and what is their adulthood going to look like? Because I guess I had technology once I started that young adult time. We had cell phones and smartphones and technology and things like that.
Yeah, you guys were just starting.
We just started to get some of it. Facebook was a thing when I was in high school. I know it's so ugly, and but I wasn't started off that way from a young age. We didn't have that. We had VHS and then moved into DVD. We had dial-up internet. We had a corded phone. Things like that. Versus today, when we have devices and our kids have devices at all
Keep
times.
Going. I just got a video.
So
I got to change this. You guys got to see our
this is my life in the barn.
Our farm here.
All my goats. Yes, I do have one on 3 legs right now. We're working on it.
Yeah, it's
Poor
okay.
Buck.
Poor Buck. We got him. We got Nellie over there. Where's Nell? We got the Nell.
Nope.
We got the Linus. The other ones are outside. I just had to show you guys because cracking me up a little bit. There's a Tenenbaum and the Nell. Hi Nell.
No.
Hi Nell. Hi baby girl. Hi Nellie. Oh, such good Nellies.
Okay, back at
Such
it.
good Nellies. Oh, all right. Okay, we're back at it. Okay, I just had to show. Okay, all right. Yeah, good enough. Hi Nellie. Come here.
Yeah.
Come here now.
So, anyways, it really makes me wonder what these next generations are going to be like. Because
I know.
at this time, even now, like you said, even with like the parenting difference with the bullying, I don't disagree with that. That is a good, valid point to bring up. That parents can't just be parents because of technology, because of social media, because their kids can now the kids don't get to go away from it.
No.
You don't get
If
to
they're
walk
being
in,
bullied.
slam the door, and that is done.
Or slam down the phone and that's it.
You can have your fit, and that is final, and deal with it tomorrow, or
Right.
have time to sleep it off. It's in their face.
And the other aspect of that is too, like we talk about not getting our girls' devices, phones at an early age, but at some point, you kind of think they have to have a phone.
Nellie.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
It's not for you to do. No. But the other part of that is, at what point do we break in and give them a phone? Because they're going to be bullied or teased because they don't have social media and they don't have the device.
Push
Nellie,
her away.
Nellie, honey,
Push her away.
push you away.
Mother, just push her. There you go.
She'll
She's not
just
going to do
come
nothing.
back.
You just push her.
I know, but she'll just
Yep.
come back.
Knock it off.
There you clap. There, yes, scratch your head right here. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. Just
And that's the thing is, I don't care. My daughter will not have a device that early. She's, no.
And even still, when they get one in high school, it's still a valid.
Bah!
Oh my gosh, now it's back. All right, goats, you guys gotta go that way. Go on. Go on. Yeah, this is the other reason we're exhausted. Farm life. Come on. Oh, you can stay, but you gotta stay right here. Oh, I know. All right. Beep, 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 yeah.
Now, Belle.
There we go. Okay.
So, and that's the thing, and so with our kids today, yeah, I won't let my daughter
Because the
have
big
one.
bullying and the big social media influencey, crappy behaviors in society, I mean, they're happening in middle school and high school. It's really bad.
In elementary school.
And elementary school. And all ages. It's all ages.
It's all ages. And the media bullying, and I will say the media bullying is so bad.
It's scary.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
Because these kids, and I do believe that is why we have higher suicide rates.
Depression.
And depression and anxiety in kids is because they can never get away from the people that are not their friend.
Yeah,
you can't get away from it. And then that push too, and I'm a firm believer, as I've said, not everybody is your friend.
Right.
Not everybody has to be your friend.
Right.
Not everybody has to freaking like you.
Right.
I know a lot of people that don't like me. I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
Right.
But
I raised you that way.
Exactly. And these kids that are being raised that everybody has to be your friend, well, sure, I'll be nice to you face to face, but turn around to social media. Now there's going to be all these screenshots and things said that is going to be pushed out.
No privacy anymore. That's
No
the other privacy. There's no privacy. If you text somebody in private something that you wanted to keep between you and that other person, and if you can't trust that person or that they screenshot it and send it to everybody and blast it. Like it's like you can't trust anybody anymore, and that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you should trust somebody, you want to be able to trust that person, and you find out you can't trust them because.
And a lot of that, I will say, is females. Girls are mean.
Oh, girls are mean.
Girls are mean.
Horrible.
I am guilty of the screenshotting, and let me tell you, my phone, I just had to do a
funny stuff.
clear off because I had so much. But yeah, I mean, seriously, come at me because I've got some stuff, but I know other people have it on me too.
That's true.
You know, I mean,
but
we're
it's
weaponizing a society.
Think about it.
We're weaponizing a society with. Bullies, really, with social media keyboard warriors, But so anyways, we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up now because we are well over the time frame that I wanted to be at, and my horse is maybe going to need a little bit more of my attention.
Maybe.
So
maybe.
I think that we can go ahead and close up. I think today's takeaway, I would say, Today's takeaway, I would say.
I think this one's actually going to launch. I think this was a good one. Finally, I think we practiced enough.
Generational differences.
Yeah.
But irregardless from in what generation you are from, we are all exhausted, and what is causing that exhaustion? And I would love to hear Grandma's take on that. So it's something we're going to have to talk about with her. Minus Matthew.
I don't think she's exhausted like the rest
She's
of
not
us
exhausted.
are.
I don't think so.
And you know why? She doesn't have social media.
Nope, she
at
doesn't.
all.
No. And she's just a happy-go-lucky person, and she does
For
her
the
arts
most
and
part.
crafts and things like really.
Mhm.
So I would like to have that conversation with her, because those of us that have adopted this lifestyle of technology are definitely more exhausted than those that have not.
And it's not just physical exhaustion. In fact, it's not that
It's
we're
never
physically
physical
exhausted.
exhaustion
It's
anymore.
mental and emotional exhaustion is just killing us.
It is. So I think that's our takeaway from this today. We would love to hear what anybody else has to say on that.
Right. What's your point?
What's your point of view?
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
Right.
And so drop us some comments, like, subscribe, and we'll get on recording another one probably next week. So thank you all for coming. This was Jen Exhausted. I'm Gabby. She's Tony. And we look forward to having much more conversations. And
this was fun. I think we got a pod success and not a pod fail this time.
I think so. So
let us know.
Looking forward to the next one. Anyways, have a good day. I'm going to take care of my pony.
Thanks. Bye-bye.